amazing solution that we solve a local or a global problem using PayPal APIs and SDKs. Guys did amazing effort. Had loads of jokes, loads of the bad jokes, which I had my team rolling their eyes through many times. Had a few fallen by the morning, but overall we had an awesome time. The winner, Team Gearbox, came through with a really awesome solution involving an Arduino, which is like a little computer processor that takes online data into the real world to open a door inside like a secure box to allow sports equipment to be rented through an app. And they did have a ball. So I basically will be able to have another battle hack again next year. Don't know yet whether that's going to be in Sydney or Melbourne, but we will be back with bigger scale. So hopefully, if we are in Sydney, hopefully we can get to see somebody there. If we're in Melbourne, hopefully we still get to see somebody there. All right. So what is BrainTree? Not a lot of people have heard of it as yet. Some have, some haven't. And BrainTree is basically a full stack merchant solution similar to eWay, EasyPay. It allows for like a white label, basically to take credit card payments through your website. It's used in some pretty big name companies. You won't even know you're using it in some cases, or in most cases. Things like Uber, Minecraft, ABC, GitHub, Airbnb. It's built inside the app so that it associates a payment method with your profile. So as soon as you transact or as soon as you use a service or buy a product through one of these companies or through one of these experiences, you'll basically be using BrainTree. And that covers the scenarios. So yeah, it's normally used in conjunction with the user profile traditionally. So in the case of Uber, as soon as you sign up, you're putting in like a credit card which aligns to your profile. As soon as you use the service, it automatically transacts. You don't have to do anything, or it does it all for you. So PayPal bought BrainTree late last year. BrainTree's core offering isn't anything that conflicts with what PayPal's already doing. It just adds to it. So one of the things the team started working on is a new product called V.0, which is literally only 3 weeks old into the wild. That takes BrainTree and PayPal all into one nice little package. I'm going to do a demo in a minute, just a plain demo of how that actually works, but literally in very few lines of code you can make payment through a really basic website. Here's the flow of how that works. Actually, I'm going to do the demo first. I love putting names in my presentation. Alright, so basic demo, just a basic form where you put in enter a value in. The code itself looks like this. On the it's locking into the one screen. Where is it doing that? Hang on, I need to see if I can work every screen. Let's try dropping it into the one. Okay. Good. Something happened. No problem. Okay, I don't know where my screen is now. Okay, go bring that up, but I won't do it. Oh. Not even on that screen. Nope, it's created a whole new screen now. I think it's something to do with the virtual. We've got like 4 desktops. You're in the Windows world, right? Good. I'm any new Mac user. Alright, let's see if we can work out where that display has gone. I don't even know which display that's put on. Anyway. Five. But it's not, that actually doesn't appear in any of them. I don't even know where that's gone.
Probably do need to set it to go.
Alright, well,
Just go down the bottom into the gathered windows.
what's that? I'm going to close. Yeah, that's it. No. See, that doesn't even. It's completely. One moment. No. You know what? Yeah, let's try turning it on and off again. Oh wait, hang on. That brought a window up.
What's the other windows? It just puts them all onto the same screen.
Yeah.
It should turn it on.
Oh, there we go. There we go. Ah, there's one there. Alright. Okay, so this is a bare minimum run through of v.0, and then I'll run through how I got it to work inside Joomla. So basic HTML form.
Basically, you're going to make things available afterwards.
Yes, because I'll get to something in a minute. So a little bit of JavaScript. Drop in the BrainTree v0 library. A little bit of JavaScript here. That just ties the BrainTree JavaScript to the checkout div, which is here inside the form. Now on the PHP side, I load the library in, the SDK in, just to require. Set up some configuration, which you get from Sandbox, which is here. Let me just log back in, I'll show you exactly where it is. Yeah, it was going to start now. Then you get those account details, you go to my user and scroll all the way down, API keys, and public key, private key, environment, and merchant ID, which is populated here. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is create a token. So this is used inside the front end, the SDK, as an identifier. Like that. I'll copy that out. Going to go back to the front end script and drop that in like that. Now, if I refresh this, fingers crossed. There we go. Accept PayPal and credit card straight in the form. Now, next thing, I'll set up the processing file So just a basic sale, so it's just going to accept the post amount from the input field, and a payment method nonce. Now what this does is creates a unique session signature with the user's browser on the BrainTree server. It's to stop things like XSS attacks and being able to exploit. It creates like a really unique session that is only valid for this session. So I'm going to log in using paper. I'm going to do a payment for $32.45, which is now processing through the form. It worked. Come back to my dashboard. It should now have a payment for $32.45. There you go, $32. So that's how thin it is. Like it's really, really small, really, really tiny. Where's my... There it is. Going back to the flow, you can see that basically once you've loaded the token into the user session, it creates like a unique signature, a unique session signature with your server, which is with the BrainTree server. So when the payment method is triggered, it knows that where the session has come from, that it's come from a real user using like a front end. Yes, it's got a mobile in it, but same thing applies to like a web interface. No, log into PayPal to, no, that runs through BrainTree.
So is it log into BrainTree to PayPal accept that, or how does it?
So PayPal and BrainTree are now integrated into this one thing. So yeah, the PayPal payment goes into the BrainTree account. You can also use it, no, you have to use it with the credit card method. You can use it without PayPal as well, so you can have just the BrainTree component. But the one I was just using, the drop-in SDK, is with both combined.
And you use all sort of into PayPal and BrainTree?
With, as in doing a checkout, by all facilities, you won't be able to use like some of the classic APIs. This is just the way that they're integrated. So tying that into Joomla. What I decided to do was tie it into Joom Shopping, which is one of the most common, well, from what I know, is one of the, correct me if I'm wrong, one of the most e-commerce platform integrations into Joomla. Definitely one of the most widely used and one of the sort of more rounded solutions. It already has PayPal available, but I thought, it'd be cool if we dropped B0 in there. So the Joom Shopping checkout flow, for those that haven't used it, and through the checkout process, you go to the address screen, the payments option, and then a final confirmation before the transaction is triggered. This is for the PayPal checkout. So transaction triggers in a PayPal checkout, which takes you through to the PayPal checkout screen. You go through the process, and you come back to thanks for your order or cancellation, and switch you back to confirm. Integrating with V0, I wanted to move because it's a very visual SDK, I wanted to move it up front into part of the process, so into the create payment method. And I'll do the demo in a moment. I've moved it into the actual second step of the checkout, so you can log in using PayPal or with credit card and then go to the confirmation and then the transaction happens. There's no reason why that couldn't be moved to the back end, to the final step of the process, except in the actual flow, that final step of the process didn't seem to have any sort of nice interface sort of tied to it, because it was expecting to either do a transaction or send you offsite to PayPal, do the transaction, and then bring you back. So this moves the payment into the second step of the process. To set it up, they have an import function available, but I'm sidetracked all that and just enter the new record straight into the database. which I can do that job again. Which I did, yeah. So the SQL that on the PowerPoint is basically this in here. The main focus of it is this section here, which I'll show you in the admin section. But basically, is your merchant ID, public key, private key, all in one little, and an environment switch. So switching from sandbox to production. What did that just do? We don't seem to be having much luck with the computer today. No, I'll be nice. All right, let's try that. Yeah. So that's what the SQL looks like. And again, everything that I've developed here, I'm happy to make available to everyone so you can improve on it because it needs improving. File structure. So setting up a new payment method inside Joom Shopping. Set up a new folder PM_V0 in line with the database entry we just added. I've dropped in the BrainTree SDK, the BrainTree folder, and the BrainTree PHP. Created a file for PM_0 PHP, admin params form, which is for the backend configuration, and the payment form. So the admin params form, which looks like this is going to log me out. Yes, well. Now it's up to 1 in the morning working on this just to get it all working, mostly there. Come on. There we go. Which is basically that. So let's update, add your merchant ID, public key, private key from the sandbox, like I went through with the basic demo, and then switch from sandbox mode to live when the time comes. Is it going to work again? It is. Every time. The payment form. So this is the form that actually creates the integration for the payment method. Normally, you either go as an option or a bunch of really basic fields inside Joom Shopping. So for this, I've integrated the SDK like we saw with the front end of the basic demo. And then PM_V0_PHP, which does all your back-end lifting basically. So all your functions to make a lot of this stuff integrate. Now, I did have bugs. I ran into, so I was up till 1 o'clock this morning working on this. I do have it working, however it does need to be better. So completely happy to release the code to everyone so that you can help make it better. The biggest problem I had was trying to get the BrainTree SDK to play nice with the Joomla framework. Or it's either, I don't know whether it was the Joomla framework or whether it was the Joom Shopping framework. But every time I tried to do a require BrainTree to generate a token and initiate the sale, instant crash. No. So up till midnight last night, and then eventually called it quits at 1 AM and I started rewriting some stuff. It does work. It's probably not the best way for it to work, but it does work. So working demo. And I didn't want to come empty-handed because you mentioned it. So, oh, my screen's really small. Hang on. All right, still up. So I'm going to buy one of these invisible clocks. Okay. All right, so I turned off all the address fields because it was really annoying me having to continually enter them, but that's just one of the standard Joom Shopping features to add remove fields. Moment of truth, the payment method. So I'm going to show you a walkthrough, and then I'll show you what I did to get it working. And you can cringe and hate me. So I'm going to do a PayPal checkout. Now it will automatically submit and take me through to the confirm order page, which I did through some custom JavaScript. Now, in terms of service, before I do that, I'm just going to clear my sandbox so you can see that it actually did work. So confirm order and cross-link it. Yeah, it worked. That was ridiculously quick. Just go into it. Huzzah. So $150. So it worked. So what did I have to do? Admin parameters form. So this is just the back-end admin form. No big deal. It pretty much just outputs from the database and displays it onto a form so you can update all the working parameters. That one's pretty easy. Where's that one? Okay. We'll do the payment form first. So what I did was, so the BrainTree SDK was basically the problem. It was conflicting with the system. So yes, what I did was I did a cold call to the root directory. Yes, a complaint, not a workaround. At 1 in the morning, it seemed like a great idea. It basically got it working. Probably not the most ideal way to get it working, and I'm sure Tim's smiling, so that's interesting. I'm sure we can come up with a much better way to sort of get it happy. I was actually pulling apart, it got to the stage where I was pulling apart the BrainTree SDK and also the Joom shopping plugin to get it to work. And at that stage I kind of thought, yeah, I'm venturing away from vanilla here, so I probably should stop. The purpose of this call is basically to, and this is the file it's referencing, is just to generate a token. So when it creates a form, it does a curl call, grabs a token, and puts it into the JavaScript. That's what creates this. I got to store. Check out. That's what creates that. The other problem was then transacting the unique nonce ID, the unique session ID that comes back that I had used to create the actual transaction. For that, the third step, no, it's like the fifth step. It's a step after this one. That's what actually performs the transaction. For that, in the function file, which is this one here, basically exactly the same thing again. I'm just sending the nonce over to do a transaction. Inside, the only missing part I found was inside Joom shopping, they have a number of steps. Now, for this, I had to pull apart the core module. And I ended up having to add, I was trying to attach it to one of the stored variables that was passed from step to step, ended up having to attach it to a session just because I wanted. No doubt, I'm sure there's a much better way to store it. There didn't seem to be in the payment plugin file, but I'm definitely planning to contact him to find out if there might have been a better way or if there was any way for him to support it. Failing that, everything's going to have to be moved to the back end after the confirmed payment, after this step, which will mean creating like a whole special interface for it, and you kind of lose the shine of the whole V0 interface. So that's basically how I did it. Yeah, totally up for any criticisms, any feedback on how that could be done differently. I literally pulled this entire module apart to be able to try and get it integrated and working. As you saw, the BrainTree SDK is really light. It's just getting the functionality inside and not conflicting with anything. Yeah, that was half the problem. Yeah. Question?
Is there any way to show what credit cards actually supports in that?
Yes, you can add in. So to create that, I had conflicts with the JavaScript as well. So to create that, wait, that's my basic demo. I ended up having to break away slightly and create, so you can customize the V0 integration. So as you can see here, as opposed to the basic demo, I ended up using like my own import fields and wrote a whole bunch of, or a little bit of extra JavaScript just to do the auto submit once the details go in. Inside that, you can definitely put like a little logo. There's nothing in the SDK, but you can put your own picture to show which ones you're accepting. Out of the box, you get Visa, MasterCard. Amex, you have to do an extra integration for. You need to contact BrainTree needs to put you in touch with Amex to create a merchant, unique merchant ID or something, and then yeah, you can integrate Amex as well. So yeah. But yeah, definitely you can customize that and even style it any which way you want. So yeah, I did get it working, but probably not the most ideal scenario.
What the BrainTree fees like?
It's 2.4% plus 30 cents, depending on which PayPal product you're using and which volume, of course. It's a little bit more expensive, but it is also an insured product and there's a 2-day settlement on funds.
So it has to go through a merchant account? Because someone say it's BrainTree setup.
Yes, yeah, you have to go through a merchant setup account and that's done by NAB. You don't have to use NAB, that'll just be where the funds land and then they can arrange for it to be automatically transported out to whichever bank you normally use. So you don't have to switch to NAB, it's just where it lands. And there's no extra fees with that as well. And yes, I do have an NAB umbrella. It was actually just in the office when I left this morning and I threw it.
What currencies is it?
All major currencies. Yeah, pretty much most major currencies throughout the world. It does cross border very, very well. Yeah, it's one of the few that does.
So there's been more currencies than that, or
The same. They help each other.
what's the rate? Little currencies
I actually don't know. I haven't been asked that yet. I get one unique question for this. But I'm happy to get back to you on that one. Yeah, I don't want to say the wrong thing. So yeah, look, I'm happy to find that out and drop you an email if you want. Yeah, I really haven't been asked. Yes. That's kind of thing. Yeah, I'll be around for questions and such, so feel free to ask any, but I'll push up what I have done to Git and then we can send it out after and yeah, more program. Happy for feedback, happy for suggestions. If you guys find a much better way to do it, then happy for that as well. And be released into the wild as it needs to be. And definitely up for contacting the guys that support us in Germany and saying, hey, we don't sell it, you guys for free. Yeah. Dude, just finished.
I'll find it on Twitter.
When do you guys use Twitter? For those who don't know, these guys absolutely blitz my battle hacks literally constantly. Peter over here, who wasn't there but was there, completely blew away. All they saw was like a wall of Joomla tweets. Well played.
Does anyone use Steve
Oh,
I don't think we're going to mention Doom jobs.
oh really? Yeah.
You guys want to share what capacity you use it?
Open shop?
Okay.
Okay.
French, isn't it? Yeah. We had the French on the
I'll have to get it out.
version of that is another one some people use, but that's science course.
Okay.
Some people love that, some people.
I've actually used that previously with some clients I've done in the digital one. Yeah, I have used that and it seems a little bit. This one wasn't too bad. And this was the first time I was using JoomlaDay 3.3 and it's pretty good. Last version I used was 1.5, so I mean, anything's improved from early days. Yeah, open cards was common. Anyone use Magento? I see. I mean, it's a good open source, but yeah, completely a whole other, yeah.
It drags along very slowly.
Yeah. Well, interestingly, I'm running a Joomla instance on AWS Micro. Yeah, and it cost me like next to nothing a month, but that's all we won't talk about. Okay.
Is charging?
Sorry?
Is Joomla charging?
I do, as in,
Do you have to pay to use it?
no, it's free. There are some modules that they'll make you pay for, but the base one is free. Yeah, free to use. It comes with PayPal and a German bank deposit system and cash on delivery. Like there's a few payment options. I switched them off for this, but and hopefully now I've got zero. But yeah,
Does it work with Joomla 3.3?
yes, that's what I was using for this. Yep. Yeah, got the latest version. But if you want to know more, BrainTreePayments.com/v.0. I'll be around. I'm known as Developer Steve pretty much everywhere on every social network, even Weibo, so always contactable in some form or other, no matter what country I'm in. No.
Back to your conflicts, what was it actually conflicting with so that when we're developing stuff using the zero web, we're not banging our heads against the wall as well?
Alright, I'm going to show you what I did. You can laugh. Let's go to alright, bear with me a sec. I'm just going to modify this a little bit. And this is the common problem I was getting. I might have been just making a silly mistake. I'll show you what I think it may have been.
What's else?
That takes the token that you generate on the back end and then put into the client-side JavaScript. It creates like a unique session ID on the BrainTree server. So that when I submit through the sale and include the nonce with the transaction, it knows where I've come from, which session I've come from. It stops for like cross-border attacks, cross-site attacks. Like a layer of security, like an authenticated layer of security. Unless the right nonce is sent through from the right server, then it won't know. It's like using the right key to the right door. Alright, that should now. Alright, so if I go to payment method now, what I think is happening is the path is being reset inside the BrainTree and conflicting with either JoomShop or Joomla itself. But I was starting to pull apart some core files. Yeah. No, and that would have been a very good idea. Okay.
the server
System.
System? Debugs? No. I turned on debugs.
So that asking
That one?
error report so system project so person. Try
Okay, so that's going to occur in the log in the here somewhere. I mean, not the log, of course. No, it's still 0. Yeah, I could not. Yeah, I could not. The only thing I can think of is it's changing it, and I didn't know. I still reckon it's inside Joom shopping. It could be something I have to contact the German guys that support it and see what they think. Whether it's trying to reload, I started to pick apart the Joom shopping module to find out how it loaded all the things. And, yeah, I just couldn't find it.
If you type the right URL, does it work?
It will work around that now, but it won't work on payment method. So as soon as you go to the payment method step, which is step 3, yeah, it'll just crash. Because it's trying to load something from a different location. Yeah, so the cold call was the only way I could get it to work. But yeah, I'll make the files available and see if someone can work it out. It's close, though. Anyway. I got it working though. Well, almost working. I'll call it a beta.
It looks a lot easier and more friendly than some other payment gateways that we had to integrate into, such as some certain banks in Australia.
Yeah, I was hoping you'd say that. So I'm in the SDK, so I was really light. So it was, that part's kind of easy. It's just making everything play nice. So yeah, if someone can work it out, my hat off to you. Yeah.
I thought about penetration testing on it.
On the SDK?
Yeah.
So the nonce code that it returns back creates a unique session that's only valid for that session and only valid once. I haven't run through any pen testing myself, but we do have a full team of global companies. So yeah, we do have a full team that's done every single one, and PayPal's involved as well. So knowing how much red tape they have internally, they've run loads and loads of testing, constantly sort of running it through different security scenarios, and if anything pops up, then it's straight away they're onto it and a new version comes out.
So anything that we would do with the integration would damage the security.
Yeah, it'll be definitely secure.
Either would or not.
Yeah. And the BrainTree developer integration, the SDK stuff, they do new versions of the SDKs every Wednesday, and new features will be added in, security fixes will be fixed, and it's all open source, so it's all available to see, and their full history is available to see. They're very open about what they're doing and how they interact with developers. So we are very open in how we deal with developers, and definitely, any concerns or questions, I'm more than happy to have a coffee, have a chat, or even sit down and do the quell any concerns. And for anyone who has got one, plenty of screen cleaners up there, you can grab a couple. They're really good BrainTree screen cleaners.
We don't talk about any other cool projects that are coming up in PayPal.
Yes, there are cool projects coming up.
I do a cool project for PayPal.
Yeah. No, there's there is some very exciting things coming. One in particular that I'll be bringing out not till next year, but it's some very, very cool stuff in the works. I'll be back to talk more about that and how you can
Into a hackathon. That is crazy into a hackathon.
Yeah.
Near field stuff on the UI codes.
Yeah, I can't say anything. There's some cool stuff coming very, very, very soon. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see, and anything new that comes out of that, I'll hopefully get myself involved back so that I can do a demo of that. Hopefully that'll work for me.
So system requirements are just as good.
This version, my hack that workaround version, or I hack that version, my workaround version, it's gone. And other than that, I kept it as standard as I could possibly keep it. I don't like sort of building on and building things out. As I was modifying the one file I did modify inside Joom Shopping to get it working, it was kind of stepping outside of that. So I was only because I had no choice.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thanks for coming.
Does anyone have any things that they'd like to share, any questions from the group? Anything they want to follow up?
Good questions.
Yeah, go for it.
Sure. Everyone obviously creates articles all the time. Is there a way to auto insert read more? Does anyone use anything to auto insert read more